All right, welcome to Pass the Mic, Friday, May 1st, 2026, episode 203.
What
You
is
know,
special about this day?
what's really special about this day? I want to can I start by saying congratulations to my firstborn, Chloe Pehote. 10 a.m. She'll be receiving her degree at the Communications College at University of Michigan, graduating with her bachelor's in 4 years.
Oh, congratulations, Chloe.
Second on that tier of May 1st, for all of our communist and socialist friends,
Uh-huh.
International Workers' Day.
Okay.
The former Soviet Republic, this is a big holiday. So hopefully I'm not canceled because of this. I'm just stating facts of what it is, correct?
I think the accusations levied by one President Trump against you seem to be coming to fruition, but
Yes, Jimmy Kimmel and I are both going to be canceled this week, it looks like.
what's
Hopefully the
what's the third
FCC.
thing about this May 1st
The
date?
third thing is I turned 51 years old, but those are
50.
they fall 51. Yes, not a big deal. 50 is a big deal. 51 is sort of like turning 22, right?
Okay. Well, happy birthday anyway.
Thank you. Thank you. Feedback and errors. We were off 2 weeks. The fans seemed to be okay with it, except for the Ren Dog. The Ren Dog got a little cranky, but so there wasn't a ton. Joe Berg, I got some late feedback in, said that I believe you used the term butthole
Yeah.
in our last episode. She said not very family friendly. Got a little bit on us there.
Well, as I pointed out, though, that's better than the alternative, right?
Yeah, I mean, I guess, listen, someone was talking the other day about like PG movies in the 80s. Like they wouldn't fly much today. Like there's stuff
Right.
in those, right? Like that wouldn't fly. So it's all a sliding scale. Since we don't have much feedback because it's been 2 weeks, there has been a lot of drama around mics in this 2 week period. Two different things. First of all, the Michael Jackson film came out.
Yeah.
Big deal, right?
Yeah. Go. What are your thoughts?
I'm not a movie guy to begin with. I'm not going to get into what his charges were and all of that. I will just say he was very talented musically. I like his music. My
Yeah.
wife hates it.
Really?
Absolutely hates it. Like when it comes on, she wants to nix it. There's some things, but I'm not going to see the movie. I'll just leave it at that. But there's not many movies I would go see. I'm just not going to see it. What about you?
So, I cite Bill Maher a lot on this show. He does make me think. I've grown to not like him as much here in the past couple of years, but he did make a point for all the young people, what he calls social justice warriors, who want to proclaim to be, about justice and all those things. He finds them to be hypocritical for getting behind this movie because of the allegations that were made against
Mhm.
Michael Jackson. And I thought it was an interesting point. I'm not sure. To be honest with you, Mike, I don't know what were his crimes or alleged crimes. Was it sleeping in bed with children? What?
I mean, that it's hard because I don't know. Like nothing. He was found not guilty, right? Like I believe
Right.
of criminal charges. So not guilty doesn't mean innocent. Not guilty means you were found not guilty. You look at like Chris Brown. I was just talking about this with my wife. Chris Brown and Usher are selling out 3 shows at Ford Field, and so people have short memories. I guess depending on the people. I don't know.
Okay. Um,
Okay, from one bad, quasi bad news Michael story to one that's getting worse, it seems, with each day. Mike Vrabel is having some. I saw a story today. There's rumors going around that he's going to resign from the Patriots. And speaking of Mike's, guess who's on their radar?
Mike Tomlin.
Mike Tomlin.
Really?
That's a rumor going around. Now he's still under contract with the Steelers, so they would have to be draft picks involved or something. But
Wow.
this whole story with Mike Vrabel and this reporter was she NFL Network?
I believe so. Yeah.
And she named her son. My sister Katie's been sending me these TikToks and videos how she named her. Today, there's also a story of a Spotify playlist that she made public or shared years ago and put Michael into the thing, and it's all these R&B.
Whoa. Really? I did not know
Yeah,
that.
it's like crazy.
Well,
What are your thoughts on that? Since you asked me about Michael Jackson, I'm going to ask you your thoughts on Mike Vrabel.
Mike, I don't. The human condition will never cease to amaze me. So I know on our text thread I was kind of digging at Sikora a little bit because of Kent really seems to like him. And interestingly, I have a friend named Mike, no affiliation with the show, and his I believe daughter was in a travel cheer thing with Mike Vrabel. This is years back. I think in between him becoming a retiring and becoming a head coach, so he was an assistant. And Mike told me Mike Vrabel was the coolest guy you'd ever meet, and he had some really funny stories.
I've always liked him. Was drafted by the Steelers and was a great Steeler
Yeah,
linebacker that they did.
so I'm not like certainly whatever the case may be. It was kind of funny hearing some of the stories come out, um, of him being on a phone with a potential draft pick saying you got to value family and the importance of family.
I
So
mean, again, if this is all true, it's obviously not the right thing to do. But I guess if you took both of the Michael stories, if they're both true, the Michael Jackson story is 100 times worse,
yeah, of course,
1,000 times worse.
sure.
Not saying that what Mike Vrabel allegedly has done is not bad, but it just shows where things are on a scale, correct?
Yeah, and again, I'm seeing a lot too in drawing comparisons and parallels to other situations. The old Boston Celtics head coach, in his situation, were somewhat similar. He was, I believe, married to Nia Long, the actress. Was on Fresh Prince of Bel Air. Was one of her first breakout roles was in Boys in the Hood. And he carried on an affair with a staff member, but apparently that one also, after it was ended, he sort of pursued it somewhat aggressively after. So I don't know if that makes this one different or not. But he did lose his job. And there's other situations where this has arisen. So again, I don't know. I don't know where. I really Sharon Moore, his situation, obviously that one escalated
Yeah,
that day.
that was a superior, someone working under you. This was like a reporter. This is. I mean, I'm not justifying anything. It's
Yeah,
all
a lot of
uh,
innuendos here.
rough week for Mike's.
What's
Mike Tomlin got a job with the NFL. I mean, with NBC, so that's good.
Yeah, can I? Okay, speaking of rough weeks, there is one from memory of feedback. The Ren Dog did send me a warning, and I didn't make it clear, Mike. I've never, I guess maybe since trouble with the snap, I always think the worst thing is going to happen in a game.
Yeah,
And the Ren Dog sent me a warning. We're not counting chickens before they hatch with the Pistons, beating whoever. I think at that
looking
point we
like
didn't
he's
even know it was
right.
going to be the Magic, and he was spot on. And I wasn't. I did predict them to win. As recent as yesterday, I thought they'd win the series. I obviously not going to make that prediction now as we stand. They're 3-1, but I want to give the Ren Dog a shout out for that. I was
Yeah,
not counting my chickens before they hatch on this series. I thought they would win, but in no way, shape, or form was I cocky about the Pistons. But I know I wasn't clear on that on the show. So
I
good
wasn't
call, Ren
seeing
Dog.
this at all. So yeah, more bad news, more rough news. Well, hopefully the
Yeah.
rest of the episode is better news. So let's turn to my Mike of the week. Pittsburgh did a great job hosting the NFL draft. So I looked up the first Michael taken in the NFL draft. You know who this was?
I do not.
It was Michael, and I might be mispronouncing this name. It's Taafffe. Is that Taff? I don't think it's Taffy.
I,
He is a walk-on safety at Texas that was
okay.
drafted by the Miami Dolphins in the 5th round. So that was the first Michael taken in this draft.
Wow. I wonder if we can get our crack staff, Tom Pack, on this. Is this the latest that Mike has ever been picked like first?
Oh, in the 5th round.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's a.
well,
Or
we had Michael Vick was the only one that's been picked 1 overall. I think we said
is
right.
that right?
We
So
did an episode of that.
yeah, and I it just made me think of my next Mike too. We'll shift that one to basketball. But Mike, is this also showing though the popularity of the name Mike is dwindling as
Oh yeah,
time goes on a
that's
little
a
bit?
boomer. That's a boomer.
Yeah,
That's a boomer Gen X generation. So, but congratulations in any case, and good luck going to Miami. All right, education topic. You came up with this week as we are getting towards the end of the year, and we're holding student council elections already for next year, and people are we say you're promoted already into the next year, and you sort of came up with the idea of a show of changes you see in our 4 years. You know, and I think this is a great topic because this is something we sort of talked about. We've often talked about where do you see changes through the years, or what changes do you see? What's the biggest jump? What's the biggest changes as a student that goes through high school? For the most part. We can't generalize this. There's obviously going to be
Right.
all 300 in a grade. It looks like this. It looks like this. It looks like this. For the most part, girls are usually a little more mature than boys in general, right?
Yeah.
But we're not going to gender stereotype either. So what do you got? What's your thoughts on this? And I'll give you mine.
So with this, okay, so each class, and I don't think this is news to anybody, has its own like unique characteristic and character, and is kind of remembered by staff. I think we tend to end up putting them in more of a binary scale of good versus bad. If that's, I don't know if that's
Yeah.
too simplistic, but you know, um, I do remember the class of 19 so well, because when they came in as freshmen, they followed a freshman group that was outstanding. It was Bill Stevenson's last year that year. So the following year was Jessica Schultz's first year. And that group came in, and we just thought they were the worst because of what had preceded them. And as it turns out, I remember the characteristic of the class of 18 going out very good, but just kind of went out with sort of a whimper when we thought they were going to go out with a bang. 19 turns out to be the best group ever to come through Carlson. I will stand by
Mm.
that. Austin Damron teaches with us now. He was a member of that group. They were outstanding. The graduation ceremony, I don't know how it's going to be this year, but it would be different because it's my daughter. But that was the only time I was emotional with the group leaving. I multiple kids, one kid in particular said, "I love you." And, it was just outstanding. And so that group is the most extreme shift and change, and kids kind of come and go too. But some of the things I took down about this current group that I thought was interesting, and I have an anecdotal story that happened today. I remember when they came in as freshmen, the teacher next door to me had Natalia in there, and I tend to go in those classrooms when my kids are in there from time to time. And I remember her saying to me, and it was Miss Crampton. I'm sure Violating Furpa here, she won't care.
Yeah.
Look at these kids; they cannot stop touching each other. It's unbelievable how much they just touch it. And I'm looking around, and sure as heck, they're doing that. They're just, the boys are just poking and touching, and it's constantly going on. And now you can see it with this group of freshmen. It's very similar. But my place, I always like to see the lunchroom. And Mike, it's uncanny to me how often, the vast difference between the freshman tables and the senior tables, just how much of the seniors, they don't want drama anymore. They're not loud, they're not obnoxious, they're not out running around everywhere. They don't ever leave garbage. They're growing up and they're maturing, male and female. And I agree, obviously, that scientifically you're right. We don't want to generalize, but females tend to mature quicker. But the reality is it is night and day different between the two groups. And then, like I said, anecdotally, it's really interesting today. I had, no joke, two kids out in the hall. The younger one wanted to argue, and my thing is, if I get a kid in the hall, this means that you're not at the level where I want to send you to the office. It's just, we just
Yeah.
have to
This is the
talk.
last chance, though.
Yes. And the younger one wanted to argue, wanted to bicker, wanted to do it. The older one, when I walked out, the very first thing this person said to me is, "My bad, I'm sorry."
Hmm.
And
And
what do
that's
you
all
do at
we
that
ask
point?
for sometimes.
That's it. Because at that point, what do you do at that point? You're acknowledging your mistake. That's all I want you to do.
Yep.
And I think that is just another way. These are the years, obviously ninth grade is still tied to that middle school thing, but now they were the big dog on campus before. Now they're coming in and they're the small fish, and they're adjusting to that. The hormones are still raging. And it is so glaring and apparent looking at this in the lunchroom, seeing the differences between the freshmen and seniors. So, like I said, just in general, I don't think the seniors want any drama. And one person in particular is a really, really funny story too. I'm not violating for books, I'm not saying any names, but this week, a kid was in the office who's a senior, and he spent some time in there. I've never had him, and that's how well I know him, that he was down there. And I said, "What now?" He said, "I was just being stupid." And he acknowledged it. There's no
Yeah. Own it.
excuse making. There's an acknowledgement. There's a just a acceptance that I messed up. And so I think that is the maturity level. Very rarely it'll happen, but in general, seniors are much quicker, and maybe it's just to avoid the drama of getting in trouble, but they're much quicker to acknowledge their mistakes and move on from it.
Whereas you went very specific, I went more general. And I know I've lost touch with the classroom, but this is what, and back when I was teaching English, I had taught all four grades, 9, 10, 11, and 12. And this was back when I was in the classroom. We had we didn't have advanced. Oh no, we did. We had advanced, like everyone was in 9 together, and then you had general 10, advanced 10, general 11, advanced 11, and then in 12 we actually had AP general 12, and we had advanced 12, which I sort of liked because it was sort of like for the college bound kid that wasn't an AP English kid, but a kid that was probably going to college bound, and so I thought that was pretty neat. Here's the thoughts I wrote down. Ninth grade, for the first half of the year, and I still sort of sense this now because I'm, even though I'm not in the classroom, for the first sense of the year, there's mostly fear still in there,
Mm-hmm.
right? They're intimidated. There's kids 3 years older than them. Um, there's the occasional immature behavior issue, but that's about the good half of the year. But then all of a sudden, something happens after Christmas break, and they sort of feel like, oh, I've got this now, and the behaviors sometimes get a little worse in semester 2. That's my thoughts.
Okay.
To me, no change from that to 10th grade, and 10th grade becomes sometimes the worst behaved year. Most issues, I think, are 10th grade years.
Mm-hmm.
Most non-individual issues, when I say non-individual issues, involving other kids, you know what I mean? Like individual, oh, cheating,
Yeah.
vaping, stuff like this, where you're just doing yourself, you're not the victimless crime, as we would say, you know. And then 11th grade, you see some maturity, and also you see some maturity in academics, because you also start, not only is it the SAT year, but people start realizing they're behind in credits.
Mm-hmm.
There's only a year left. They start doing some things where, you're all of a sudden you're sitting in a ninth grade elective or a ninth grade social studies class, right? Because you messed it up once. And then I found that by 12th grade, um, like you said, they're laying low. Even the kids that aren't academically strong, they're getting done what they need to get done, even if it means a 62%.
Sure.
All right, they've acknowledged that this is what I'm going to get, and it's sort of like this unwritten relationship with the teacher. When I had general 12s, this is always famous. I'd have kids getting 90s and 80s and that sort of thing, but I'd also have a percentage that maybe start off and they're in the 30s, and I'd be like, listen, this is English 12. There's no coming back.
Yeah.
So either get this up another 33 points or you're going to summer school. And for the most part, kids would.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't even a battle. Like, no, it didn't mean that they were getting every assignment in or they were studying and acing every test. They were just doing what they wanted to do. That's what I see. However, the one thing I do see is that the it's getting worse, I guess, is what I'm saying. There's some that are just totally apathetic. But they don't even get to 12, right?
Yeah. I think that's what ends up happening. They end up not
Taking
getting
another
there. They end up
route.
somewhere else. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know if they necessarily work because we don't know. They don't update us on that stuff.
Sure.
But back in the day, it used to be just summer school, straight up summer
Right.
school,
Right.
which I taught for a few years. Never want to do that again. But our kids, we don't have to worry about that, right? Like, but speaking of that, I got Natalia's. She gave me her invite. She said I didn't have to come. That's what she said. As
I told her to make sure she told
what kind
everybody
of
that.
invite is that?
Well, I said, this is what I said. I told
I
her,
know you
tell
don't feel
everybody
like you have to come.
there's, no obligation,
Yes. But I said back to her, I go, your dad came to both of my kids. I will be. Even if you didn't, I would have gone. But I said I
sure.
will be there.
Okay.
Barring something
Well,
crazy. Well, I mean, I shouldn't guarantee anything. Who knows?
yeah.
I mean, I'm turning 51.
I'm wondering where you're going right now.
I'm on the back half of things.
There's a few, you're definitely on the back nine, but I was wondering where you were going to go with that one.
No, no. I, you know what? In all honesty, it's in my backyard. I didn't even look at the date. I got to look at the date because I am moving Chloe, but I don't think it's going to be that. I'll make sure I put it in for that day off at the golf course too. And Nate, since we're working together.
Oh, is that okay? So
Yeah, he starts training this weekend.
I can't imagine. Hey, are they hiring? I don't. I need
Maybe they
someone
should
working.
maybe we should do this should be like a reality show. We should get like a all right. Speaking of golf courses and springtime, overrated, underrated, spring tasks around the house, spring. What do you got? Overrated.
Okay, so I went a weird direction with this, but it just has happened so much lately that I couldn't. So I focused on instead just the general focus of spring, and I'm anxious to see where you would go, but I couldn't pass this one up. So it just has happened so much lately. I would say, Mike, in the last week, I've heard it no less than 10 times. So I'm just going with the overrated Michigan and its 5 seasons in the end.
Oh
Obviously, I
yeah.
know there's not 5 seasons, Max Bailey, but just the notion that everybody talks about it. We all know it is what it is, but the fact that it comes up so often in the spring, I could not miss the opportunity of bringing that one up for my overrated.
So question, have you turned on your air conditioning at all yet this
No.
in 2026? Okay, now I did. There was a
Did
couple of
you?
days back there where it got to 78 2 days in a row. And like the second day, the house got a little warm. And I always like to do it then. Hear me out. I like testing it then. So I turned it on then. It kicked on. It worked. It cooled the house. We left it on for that day. And within a day or two, it was already cold again. I turned it
Yeah.
off. And now when I fired up that first 90 whatever degree day in late May, early June, I can rest assured that it's going to work. And I don't have to call one of the other people. That's why I do it. I don't do it just do it, but it's like a little trial run. I also
Okay.
did turn the heat on after it because we've had some cold days. Is your heat
Yeah.
still on at some point? It's probably going to be on this weekend. It looks pretty cold.
Right. Yep.
All right, so my spring, that's a good one because I was like sort of feeling like that too. Because like people are like, oh, should I plant? Should I do this? And I was going back and forth, but I'm going overrated is redoing the mulch um, around the house. Do you have mulch around your landscaping?
Yeah. Yes.
So, and I was talking to somebody about this the other day. I think I try to do it so I can drag it out once every 2 years. Like I feel like if it's good enough, if you put enough down, it
Yeah.
can last 2 years. I also learned that I went with black the last time I did it, which I was a little worried about, but I actually liked it better than the fake red, and
Hmm.
it lasted well. But guess what? This is a year two, and I got to do it again, which means I've never done the delivery in my driveway. I've always done the bags at Lowe's, buy whatever, four for $10 or whatever it is. But who knows what it is now with the oil situation? Because don't get use oil to make those plastic bags they go in. So mine is definitely doing mulch, and I'm gonna have to do that. But I saw somebody in my River Valley Facebook page was asking about a lawn service, and they mentioned this company, and they said, "Oh, they do our mulch too," and it sort of piqued my interest. Oh, you can hire people out. I guess you can hire people out for anything, right?
Yeah. You'd think. Yeah.
But mulch is like one of those things I think I can handle. Now that I got a pickup truck too, I guess I can. I don't have to put it in the back of my wife's Buick anymore. So, but
Yeah.
still
I did
overrated.
that. I had to do when I sold my house last year. That was one of the things on the outside. My
Realtor said
wonderful, what's that?
that your realtor
Yeah,
told you to do.
wonderful realtor, Paul Warren.
Yeah.
She said that, that's the visually the optics of that. So
It's
I
low
did that.
cost too, really. Now, you can't say that about many things for home improvements. It is
No,
really low cost.
and it generally is not. It's a lot of like there's some manual labor, but it's not that difficult. It just
No,
takes it's
that's where I think the bags are easier because if you get the big mound dropped off in your
yeah
driveway, you got to get the wheelbarrow, you shovel it in the wheelbarrow.
yeah
Whereas with the bags, you just take the bag to where you want it, rip it open.
spread it out a little bit and on to the next one.
Yeah, yeah, I'm doing bags. I don't care, whatever. Sorry if
Yeah.
it's bad for the environment. So, all right, what do you got as underrated?
So I was I really like, and I'm not a big lawn guy. This is not going to be underrated though, but I do like but I think this is just general. This is me just sort of uh, giving an opinion on this, but I like the green grass in the spring. The summer heat hasn't dried it up yet, so I really like that. But I don't know if that's really necessarily underrated. So what I'm going with is this is the time of year when the bugs slowly seem to start coming out. And you could probably guess my feeling on bugs just based on my feeling on snakes. And I have a little dilemma with the snakes too, but I'll get to that later. Actually, I'm going to ask it now and see what maybe there are some snake experts out there. But to me, I just love doing and I use organic stuff, but the organic insecticide that goes around the house. I usually do it a couple times a year. It's pet safe and everything else. And to I have not the past couple of years, knock on wood, I have not seen too many of those bugs around the house, and I just like doing it. I like knowing it's happening. I know when the weather starts warming up, that's when it's time to do it. So that's my underrated. Now, let me ask you this:
Yes.
my snake situation.
Yeah.
This is let's see if any of the listeners can help me out here too. Now, I got this stuff I ordered on Amazon. Basically, you plant them in the ground. And it's supposed to keep the snakes away. Where do I place them? Because what if they are already close to the house? Am I therefore then keeping them close to the house? and locking them in
What is this thing?
is a bunch of
Is
things.
it
They're
a
like little things.
is it a chemical? Is it
I'm not
to
sure
scare
exactly. I
them?
haven't opened it up yet, to be honest with you. But forget what it is. I know I place them in the ground, and I don't know exactly what they do. I haven't even read the thing yet. I just know what I'm supposed to do
I
with
think
them.
you'd put them in. I think you'd put it like in soil close to your house,
Yeah,
and
but
that
what if
builds
they're
the
already
barrier.
there? What I'm saying is,
Oh, now they're pushing them into the house.
yes, I'm pushing them in. Then what?
Well, then I don't know. That's a catch-22.
Yeah, how do you? You're not offering. You're a librarian. Shouldn't you know this information?
Oh, yeah, I'm not the what's his name? The guy that got stabbed by the stingray.
Okay, so okay, no
Steve
assistance.
Irwin. Steve Irwin. Sorry,
I,
too soon. Too soon.
I bet
I
you,
would put. I
Gary,
would put the. I'm assuming they're not in the house right now, so I would put them
put them out.
closer. Yeah.
Gary Bailey is like this. Just seems like something he would know. So
Oh, especially if he's in his Florida mode right
you
now.
know
I don't
what?
know.
Has he really hasn't offered us any
He's been
feedback lately,
quiet.
has he?
Well, maybe he'll get you on this. He has sent us wildlife pictures from Florida. So,
Sure. Okay.
um, you good?
I'm good.
I like the underrated because it is because of all the rain right now. This is when the grass looks best. My underrated goes back almost to the climate question I started the show off with. This time of year is perfect. No climate control on. I have not run.
Yeah,
I pulled up my
that's a very
DTE
good
for
one.
the last 6 or 7, 8 days. I haven't run anything, air or heat.
Excellent
Now,
point.
right now as I'm recording this, it's just Ella and I in the house. So even if it gets really cold, I'm not turning that heat on until people are back here, which will be after this weekend. But
Yeah.
that's you get this now, right? You get it in late April, early May, and then you get it in late. You get it in early October, mid to
I was
through
going to say
October.
late September into
Yeah,
October.
but
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying, and it's to me, I love it. It's because really what happens to me because the allergies and stuff here. Once June hits, the air's on and it's on. Like I
Yeah.
don't because yeah, even if you get like one day where it drops and it gets cool overnight, like I find that like the problem is that okay, you turn it off and then the minute your house gets warm again, that air takes forever to cool it back down. So like, why
Right.
not just keep it at 73, set it and forget it?
You know,
But
it's funny if we were to kind of do a running theme of this show. I think with you, there's a couple things. It's that climate control environment in your home and food. Those are your
those are my two big
those
things.
are your
Yeah,
two big
those
things.
two big things. I think most dads are focused on the thermostat. I think that's a
Yeah.
dad thing. All right, hot mic take. What do you got this week?
Okay, before I get to my take, I do want to give a shout out. I don't know if they're going to be listening, but I ran into the Kyle Howard, a former Carlson student who his mom was at the track meet today, and she gets on FaceTime and she said, "Hey, your favorite teacher's here," and she pulled, and I was, "Oh, hey, how you doing?" I didn't realize she was standing right next to me.
Holy cow!
Kyle is he's an electrician, and he runs his own podcast out of Gibraltar with somebody he went to school with. They do a hunting podcast, hunting and fishing
Oh,
podcast out of Gibraltar. They go a couple times a week, so they're doing a little bit more than we are.
dang!
But I wanted to give them a shout out. So
Yeah, what's the name of the show?
Mike, I
I
was
knew
afraid
this
you're
was
going to
going
ask
to
me. I
happen.
totally forgot. But Kyle Howard, but it's
Okay,
a local. It's got Gibraltar's in the name, so
okay.
and
I
it's
wonder if they have Mr. Falwell on that after he had his big fishing fundraiser this
yeah,
last
good
weekend.
question. And his sister graduated in 18, a class of 18. And I mentioned she has been teaching for like 4 years now. It's another sign that
Oh,
we're getting
excellent!
old.
Man,
Um,
multiple shows a week. Good for them.
yeah, yeah, pretty impressive, right? So my hot mic though. So the White House Correspondents' Dinner happened,
Oh
and
yeah.
I thought I would just use this as a platform to show we clearly, and I'm sure the listeners know which way we swing politically, but I think that we're pretty good about bringing up both sides, and I think this incident certainly can bring that out. And here's why. I'm going to start by attacking the left. Several people on social media were saying, kind of repeatedly, can you just say you're happy that Trump is alive and well, and thankfully nobody was killed, and the left refuses to say that. Now, I am one that always says the extremes tend to get the loudest voices, but there were extremes on there, and I did see some of them, and so I'm to my friends on the left. I think that's inappropriate. Again, nobody lost their life. thankfully, regardless of what happened and whatever conspiracies one wants to drum up, the fact of the matter is everyone survived. So that's a very good
Yes.
thing. But then the right clutching their pearls as if the president himself hasn't contributed to this polarization that takes place. And it was just a couple weeks ago when Robert Mueller died, where he was essentially celebrating his death. Right? We
Yeah.
have, I think, both sides can kind of take a look in the mirror and say, yeah, we're contributing to this. We're not helping the matter at all. If indeed we want to be helped, and I don't even know if that's the case anymore. So I just wanted to kind of call that out a little bit. And again, I do see I probably see the more extreme voices on social media and, in our daily lives. You and I work with people that think different than we do, and we get along just fine. And so maybe that's what I'm basing this whole hot mic topic on. But I do think it's kind of, I think both sides can easily look at the mirror on this specific issue and say, yeah, we're not helping the matter at all here.
Yeah. And not to lump like every individual or party into one mode of behavior,
Right.
as if, as a, oh, so, I kept saying, oh, this is a teacher. Well, of course it was a teacher. Oh, yes, because all we're sitting around is planning assassination attempts. I'm barely
Correct.
planning. I don't want to do my mulch, not to
Right.
mention go get a room at the DC Hilton and try to kill somebody.
Right.
I don't have the energy for that. I don't have the energy to go get my mulch. So no, no, we're not all thinking that or trying to teach that or whatever. And just like not every Republican is trying to assassinate Gretchen Whitmer either.
Sure.
Okay, not every
Right.
person up north in Michigan. So, but that's the problem. People don't pause for a second and catch their breath for that. So, but I agree. Um, all right, my hot mic take. It's in my notes as this. I wasn't going to do this earlier, but the way I didn't even plan to start the show with that. We don't really script things with the May 1st. I wanted to use my hot mic, and I sort of did it early, but I'm just again. I want to congratulate my daughter, to Chloe on her graduation from U of M Ann Arbor. She's had 4 great years. Talk about 4 great years, 2 national championships.
Yeah.
She got to, experience wins against Ohio State and go out on the field. She's met some amazing people. She, stayed in contact with some great Carlson people that are met tons of new people. Um, was a member of a sorority, or is a member of a sorority. Was a TA this year. Earned a big scholarship from the program. My dad would be so proud. Him and my mom did a 529 that she was going over her student loan stuff with me today because we had money but not enough. And she was telling me the amounts, and I was like telling her, I'm like, Chloe, imagine if we didn't have what we had, and it's because the amounts are still reasonable. I don't violate her for our finances. But that gift that I'm going to get today, as people are listening to this, it's going to be the greatest birthday gift ever. And I just know my dad would be so excited to be seeing the first of his grandchildren.
Hmm.
As a both of my, I was first generation college, on for my parents, and my dad knew the value of education. My mom knows the value of education, and my wife and I both college degrees and advanced degrees. I'm not buying into this AI world that college is not valuable and education is not valuable. And so congratulations, Chloe. I love you. I'm so proud of you, and I can't wait to celebrate. Um, she's 21 now too, so we can celebrate family friendly at 21. So,
What would the difference be family friendly at 20 or 21?
well, I wouldn't want to be breaking any laws. I don't want Cash Patel
Ah,
coming after me
gotcha.
for
So it's family
minor
friendly if you're
imposition.
21. Okay.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
congratulations, Chloe. That's outstanding. You have certainly a ton to be proud of, and I like to think it was your ninth grade U.S. history teacher.
What? Speaking of that, all kidding aside,
Oh, I'm joking, Mike.
no, I'm not kidding. I'm not joking. I want to say that because sometimes people say, "Oh, I didn't learn." We've done this before, right? I didn't know this. I didn't learn this. My daughter thrived and did extremely well at one of the best public institutions in the country. And why is that? It's because my mom, my dad, my in-laws read to her, we read to her, and then everyone in the Gibraltar School District that had an influence on her education got her there and got her through that. And that's a tribute to all of our coworkers.
Okay.
We do our staff appreciation sometimes in May. We'll probably do that right next week, where we pick out some new people to appreciate. And I want to thank everyone. I know we have some listeners that Chloe's been in their class, and she couldn't have done it without you guys. That's for
Sure.
sure. So don't let people tell you that public education can't get you places. By the way, speaking of that, I think I'm saying this correctly. The astronauts that just went up, all were public school educated. I thought I saw a post about that.
Oh, is that
Pretty
right? I
cool.
didn't know that.
Yeah, pretty cool. Pat
Okay.
ourselves on the back a little bit. We
Yeah,
don't
for
get to do
sure.
that much. We are back. My life does slow down after this weekend with graduation. We still have track meets and soccer games. That's truly the reason this is so hard for us this time of year.
Yeah, and I
You have
mean,
two daughters that are competing in two different sports.
yeah. So I'm not even coaching. I did.
I'm coaching.
Yes, I was the ball boy though yesterday at the soccer game. That was pretty fun.
And Bill
Um,
Burguy was the down marker at the flag football game. Shout out
yeah,
to Bill Burguy.
yeah. And you
He
said
was
he was
running up
running
and
around.
down.
That's how I felt yesterday too.
Yeah.
So,
Look at you two guys going after
and
it there. So,
I'm doing 50-50 for the
oh my
cancer
goodness.
awareness game Thursday. So
Oh
got a
yeah,
lot
big
going
game.
on.
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
But yeah, so we'll try to get one in because I do want to get Mackenzie Harris before this school year is over because I want to get her while she's still in like this first semester of her teaching career. I think we need to
yeah.
get
And I
that
have a
done.
few ideas as well. In fact, when we go off the air here, I want to tell you one of them. But yeah, this is we're coming down toward the end. I prefer to be in the studio as much as possible before the
Yeah.
end of the year.
Yeah, but once I'm done, my track season's over like the 20s of May. So we'll get a couple in the studio before we leave for summer. So maybe that's when we can get Mackenzie in at the end of May.
Okay.
Because she's also coaching too, I believe. She
Yeah,
plays softball.
softball.
So
Yep.
yeah, so we'll do that. We'll set that up there and try to get a guest or two in too before the end of the year. So, all
All
right,
right. Let me.
question.
I
Oh
was
no, go
going to throw
ahead.
it at you. I was going to
All
throw it
right,
at
go
you.
ahead.
Any chance to pit? I'm too biased, and right now I'm too biased in a negative way. Can the Pistons pull off a miracle here? And it would be more of a miracle than 23 years ago. Can they come back and win the series?
3-1. It's not impossible, but if I had to bet my mortgage on. Okay, here's a good one. So the Penguins were down 3-0. They have won two straight. Right? They're down 3-2. Pistons are down 3-1. Now, statistically, math-wise, the Penguins have the better chance. They've already
Sure.
gotten to 3-2. You don't follow the Penguins or hockey that much. I think the Penguins have a better shot, even if it was 3-1. I think they were just a better team than Philadelphia throughout the year.
Mm-hmm.
But but if you had to tell me which one I think has a better shot, I think it's the Penguins. I probably just jinxed them. They're probably done, and now the Pistons are probably gonna
I
take
hope
over.
you're right. I think in your heart of hearts, you probably hope. There's a question for you. Which one would you rather have happen?
Pistons, because I'll tell
Yeah.
you why. This Penguins team probably doesn't win the next round no matter what. I
Yeah.
guarantee they don't. Whereas I think the Pistons could win this round and then win the next round. They have a better shot. Although after seeing them play this series, I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah. This is a gut punch. Again, I think Orlando's a good team. I'm not going to. They're not a normal 8 seed. Okay, fair enough, but it doesn't matter. You cannot have this kind of performance. It is one of the most. I'm not going to say this is the level of Isaiah throwing the ball away, Rasheed Wallace, leaving Robert Ory, whatever. But this is a very, very disappointing end of the year in a situation where they won 60 games. I really hope that we're on next week and talking about this miracle that happened. I don't see it. And I probably felt that way. Maybe it's revisionist history saying 23 years ago but at that time I thought the Pistons were the better team. They don't look like the better team right now at all. I wonder if there's some lingering health issues with Cade. I mean, that was a very, very serious injury that he suffered. I don't know, obviously not being a doctor, I don't know how long it's supposed to take him to come back, but he really doesn't look like himself in a lot of ways. So this has just been a terrible disappointment on top of the other disappointments that you'd mentioned. Chloe got to witness 2 national titles for Michigan, and I was kind of just thinking about that as you said that with the Detroit teams. There has just been 2 decades of almost 2 decades of just one disappointment after another, and this just adds to that chapter of Detroit sports disappointments.
Yeah, jinx are the number 1 seed. So true feeling. I believe when we do next week's episode, both of the teams we're cheering for are going to be out. So
Probably.
that's that. You asked me which one I thought had a better chance. It doesn't mean that I'm sitting there saying the Penguins are going to win. I just thought they had a better chance, but I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah.
So sorry, I'm a realist. All right. Well, hey everybody, thanks for putting up with us as we were off for a week there. We hope to have one next week. We'll play it by ear. Have a great week, and we will see you next week. We think.